What happened in universe? What happened on the last recording universe? I thought I had this thing sorted out to the point it was in like functional working order, and the last recording is in many ways unlistenable. I'm very well aware of that, which is why I'm right back on here on the now 10th of January. Oh, January. Wow, flashback a month. It's the 10th of February, folks, because Valentine's Day is on Monday. So get them Valentine's Day gifts ready. Although, don't, just show love all year long, and then on Valentine's Day, stay home. Don't be a sucker for all the commercialization of human experience. In fact, if I can get us all to boycott Christmas and just instead celebrate the 3rd of January as if, and then take advantage of all the sales, do you know how much better we'd all be off? But stupid ideas like that are why we get high, right? Speaking of which, that's what I was testing the microphone here position for, or at least that was part of the test. The citrus yumminess that is Diet Mountain Dew is part of the test. Really, it's not part of the test, but I'm thirsty. I kind of abruptly ended the 2 recordings ago, and I got into a space I did not expect to get into about rapey dolphins and such. But yes, I do actually have a dolphin tattoo on my butt from a road trip I took while working at a summer camp in Boston with a couple of girls. Girls? Those were women. We were 22 years old. They were women. 21 years old when I got the tattoo. There were 4 of us in that car now that I think about it. There was a third. Yeah, I was the 4th. I mean, I piled in. The 3 women were on their way to Rhode Island to get tattoos, and I was like, yeah, I'll jump in the car with you. I got nothing better to do. Ended up with a dolphin on my butt. But, this is the kind of relationship I have looking back on things. I hadn't meant to bring this up, but as an admission of being a whore, I actually slept with all 3 of those women too, at different points. Like, there was nothing weird about it, and nothing awkward about it. Like, literally at different points. One summer for one, the next summer for another, and the next summer for another. So, what are you going to do? Life is the way it is, right? But I am not here to talk about that. Well, yes, I guess I am, because in all of those situations, although the third one, I may never tell that story. It's too good a story. Some stuff you got to keep private. But the other 2, one was sex on acid, and the other one was, like friends making out all of a sudden. Should we? Shouldn't we? Yeah, why not? One of those. One time. And the other one was one time. It's one of my top 5 stories. I don't know if I can go there. Oh, yeah. But the truth is, I never, ever, alcohol's the quickest way to making poor decisions. And I drink a lot of alcohol. So I have plenty of poor decisions made under the influence. But I do not ever blame alcohol for any kind of poor decision making. That is still 100% your own accountability. Even though my recklessness with my relationships when drunk was clearly peaking compared to when waking up Sunday morning hungover. I wouldn't say actually my recklessness in relationships was peaking in one versus the other. Both of those were reckless in relationships. My point is, I wasn't about to be caustic in states of existence other than drunk, where I was likely to find myself in caustic situations of my own doing or fabricating sometimes the caustic situations with other people in ways that were unnecessary. Whatever. I guess in both of those situations, it's your own doing. but I would also walk into situations to become caustic. You just do stupid stuff when you're drunk. And if you drink a lot, you can do a lot of stupid stuff. But I never would ever have crossed a line with women. Like, you can't do that. And if anything, I'm sheepish and fine. I'm a pussy, whatever. Call me what you want. But I was always respectful toward anything that resembled physical connection with females. Because the world doesn't have room, gaps, or any variance of misunderstanding in that arena. The conjugal nature of union between humans is a loving embrace, period. Making it anything else is something you've been trained to do. You are misfiring. And if I had to guess, it's because you were not given the kindness and the understanding or forgiveness you deserved at a point of weakness or uncertainty, or frankly, innocence. Some people have been through so much horror. I don't know how they persist without snapping entirely. I have none of that baggage to bring to bear. I'm very lucky to be able to say that. I know that. But because I'm in a position of rather benign circumstance in terms of boundaries that ever were pushed, in terms of discomfort from me, for me, toward me, none of that. I have none of it, except of what I made of my own. I guess it was always an easy thing to be able to understand no meant no. And this was very well reinforced in my early sexual education. We grew up at the right time. The wrong time for drugs, because we also get that no means no shit over there too. That was wrong, but where it comes to sex, it was right. And so I at one point in my life, I called myself a feminist, and I actually graduated with enough credit in the women's studies department at my university to technically qualify for a second credit in philosophy as women's studies, but I didn't take it because I knew I hadn't really earned it, because the two classes that ended up qualified after I'd taken them. So I backed into that, and I didn't, and I could have forced the issue, but I'll be honest, in some ways I didn't do it because it meant that I would have been the first male to go through the university with a women's studies credit. And I wasn't worthy of that. And I knew it. So I stepped back from that. But regardless of yakety yak about my passity past, I've always known and always been rather lucky to be clearly in moments where no meant no. And no meant no plenty of times. I'm no Don Juan. But yes means yes. And yeses are great. There are plenty of them to be had. And someday I may even tell you about number 3. But until then, I didn't mean to get into that scenario. Since I got myself into that scenario, I couldn't treat it lightly. Like drugs. Not like drugs. Like something totally different, but very serious, like that same level of subject matter. So I wanted to go back to it. And I know my recording situation right now is at best tenuous because the connector to my telephone is, I think, failing. So, needless to say, between now and Friday when the new microphone shows up, I got some work to do. Hopefully it's just headset related, but I think it might be phone related. And if it's phone related, I do have options. But that's why I'm quickly just getting another one on the books, because I'm going to have a whole new setup in about, let's see, what time is it? Okay, it's the 10th of January. It's 1:27 in the morning. By the time I get off work Friday night at 10 o'clock, I should be working with a new setup, so I'm likely not recording another thing until then. So really, here's 48 hours for you to breathe, just like for me to breathe. Just like my kitty sitting next to me. She's breathing nice these days. Oh, but that red spot looks like it hurts.